Hello, children. Are you ready for some cutting up and kikiing? Are you ready for a gay old time? Well, I hope you are, because now it's time for Hey Qween with your host, Jonny McGovern.
Hey Qween, come on and spill the tea. Hey Qween, it's just a good old-fashioned kiki. Hey Qween, we're cutting up with Jonny. Hey, 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 hey. Hey Qween.
Hey, woo, yes! Hello, my little gay angel babies, and welcome to another glamorous episode of Wonk Wonk with me, your host, Jonny McGovern. Oh, we have a very special show for you today. America's sweetheart is here. America's teacher, America's mommy, the wonderfully effervescent Miss Tempest DuJour is here today. Yay! I'm excited. But before we bring her out, there's another ray of sunshine I have to introduce. She's the hot sauce in Beyonce's bag. She's like a fine red wine, full-bodied and way too expensive for you to open. And just like a big plate of sushi, she'll fill you up with fresh fish. It's Miss Lady Red Couture. Oh, hey, Qween. Oh, my goodness.
How are you?
Oh, I'm good. You know what I'm enjoying?
What's that?
Your new creations.
Oh, I'm having such a good time.
The new creations. Now, we got to give a shout out,
Oh, yes,
right?
we have to do a
We have to give a shout out to one of our viewers, Mr. Travis Rogers, who sent Lady Red a brand new sewing machine. Yeah. Put his money where his mouth is.
Well, when you talk shit, bitch, you better be able to back it
That's
up.
right.
So
And
I
he
love
talked shit
that.
and he backed it up.
backed it
And we
up.
appreciate that.
Yes,
That's the kind of
baby.
shit we can handle.
Yeah.
Somebody follows it up with a sewing machine and a lovely card.
And then you watch all the motherfucking outfits I made.
Yes. What a delight. So, yeah, all of the different fabrics that we've had all through the different seasons will now be making new debuts as newly repurposed outfits. Very exciting. I love it. You are looking gorgeous today, giving a Vicky Winans type of tea.
Yeah. It's like the Clara Ward singers.
Oh, yeah.
When they first got money, that's how you knew, because they got new wigs and new dresses, honey.
This is the part where all the white people said, the what? Winans, our gospel group, Google it. Vicky Winans, my favorite Vicky Winans moment, this is exactly what you're looking like. Vicky Winans in the 90s decided she was going to have a contemporary sound. Have her son Mario Winans produce her song, Don't Throw Your Life Away, and it was a scandal in the gospel world.
And she, the thing is, she was trying to be an innovator without, like, just raping everything. You know what I mean?
All right.
Because there are some gospel artists who do not continue with the tradition, and that's fine. But you also have to respect it. You can't just be like, you know what? Let's make it sound so contemporary. Nobody's going to even notice the word Jesus. I mean, if you're going to do it, do it.
I don't like it when they trick me and you're like, well, this is a good song. This is a song about Jesus? That was a trick.
Okay, yeah, give me the option of whether I want to praise him and lift him up or just do some nasty shit. You know what I mean? You gotta give me an option. But that's all about being adult, which is, tying into our guest today.
Oh, yes, she's very much an adult.
Very much an adult.
She's a seasoned queen.
She's a well-seasoned.
Well-seasoned.
Fishy queen.
Fish, oh, she's well-seasoned fish.
Yeah, she's more like koi, not tilapia.
Now we have another seasoned queen here with us today, not just our guest.
Oh.
We have the beautiful, the avant-garde, the weird, Miss Erica Aviance and the Wake Up Wings.
Yes.
We adore Tempest DuJour. We adore Tempest DuJour. We adore Tempest DuJour. Adore Tempest DuJour.
Wow! These avant-garde minimal house theme songs are killing it. Well, we have an amazing show today.
So excited.
The beautiful, lovely, hilarious Tempest DuJour is here. Yeah. And we will be with her right after this very gay break. Get it, Erica! Oh, fly away, camera.
We adore
Oh, yeah?
Tempest DuJour.
Oh.
Hey Qween.
Hey everyone, Jonny here to let you know about our brand new website, heyqween.tv. Not only do we have every single episode from every season of Hey Qween, but all of our side shows. Hot Tea, Judge Lady Red, He's Fit, Lady Red's Corner, Drag Cousins, Whoa Dude, and more. And most importantly, we have our brand new t-shirt shop with brand new t-shirts designs, including Every Boner is a Blessing. Hey Qween, look at her. Hello children. Yes, Qween. Plus tank tops for whores for the summertime. And don't forget, wear your Hey Qween shirts with me and Lady Red on them to show your support for everything Hey Qween. Buy them at heyqween.tv. Our guest today may have been eliminated first from season 7 of but
Stop
she's
it.
also become first in our hearts. The lovely, the hilarious, the talented Tempest DuJour.
We adore Tempest DuJour. We adore Tempest DuJour. We adore Tempest DuJour. Adore Tempest DuJour.
And there she is.
Hi, Johnny.
Hello, the picture of beauty and grace.
Oh my
Tempest
God.
DuJour, everybody. Lady Red, I haven't seen an entrance that graceful in the entire front of the show.
Let me tell you something. You know, I love a tall queen, but I love a tall queen who has a wonderful sense of humor about herself. And she is just gorgeous, climbing all over the fucking furniture.
Oh, well, you started off nice, and then it ended with a scolding. Welcome, Tempest. Thank you. Hey, Qween.
How are you?
I'm good. I am loving this look.
Thank you.
She's goldfish realness,
a little
honey.
koi pond realness, right?
Koi pond come to life.
The kind that smells like sulfur. Good thing you don't have smell-o-vision.
Oh, thank goodness. But maybe we can send them out and everyone can
Right, a scratch and
scratch
sniff.
and sniff and smell aroma like those old John.
I will personally go home and shit on a card for everybody.
Hooray! Amazing.
Nailing out.
Well, so much for playing coy.
Comedy time. Erica, if someone does that joke, you have to go, ba-dum-bum.
Girl.
Thank you. Tempest, welcome to California.
Thank you. I'm California dreaming.
You are California dreaming.
I love it here. You know, I live in the desert, so whenever I come to California, it's like I reconstitute with
I
the
bet.
moisture in the air. I
I
love it.
know.
I've become a little bit bigger, but fuller and more youthful, I suppose.
More youthful and
I
effervescent.
love it. Yeah, effervescent. that's the
Effervescent.
word. Like a Rolade.
Yes. You have been performing, of course, when the girls come. Are you on the Morgan McMichaels Drag Queen Underground
Circuit.
Railroad?
Sort of, yeah. I am the Harriet Tubman of that group, for sure. I'm like the old one that leads the others. Right? Red and I just had this discussion backstage. We were talking about that she was from Utah.
Yes.
And I said, well, you know, I went to college in Utah, and I thought I was the only black girl in Utah all that time. And it
Right.
turns out there was another one.
Little did you know, Lady Red was behind the
knew?
scenes.
Well, I mean, while she was over there, I was, over at Weber State.
You were. All right.
All right. So you've been doing shows while you've been here.
Been busy. It's nice to be busy.
It is.
Some girls from my season work and some don't.
Ooh. It's early, but interesting.
She was on for 20 seconds, but she made the best of it.
Come on.
I'm gonna
She
say,
did,
you
darling.
know.
Yes, she did. It must be nice to be able to be like, goodbye, cat. Classes are canceled. I'm going to go to California to shake my ass for the children.
Kind of. There's benefits from being a tenured professor. So,
Oh, yes, it is. You got
by
that
day.
tenure, honey.
Girl, I got the tenure, so sometimes I just
Tenure
cancel a class.
and RuPaul Drag Race. It's a great combo.
I know, right? I'm sure I'm the first professor. right? Ever to be on the show.
Definitely. Other than just Lady Bunny.
I'm the first one that could probably spell professor in the history of the show, frankly. But I'll take the title. I'll take it.
And so, how are the kids and the husband and the animals?
Everyone's good. Thanks for asking.
Now, you
Everyone's
live in
good.
Tucson?
I live in Tucson.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, where I work at the University of Arizona.
Yes, where you're a tenured professor.
Well, I'm a
like we
tenured
said.
professor, 19 years.
19 damn
And higher
years.
education. Yeah.
Were you like teaching before you even came out of the closet?
Yeah. Well, no. Well, yeah. Around about the same time.
Oh,
I started
interesting.
very late. You know, I was
Yeah.
like perfect little Mormon boy the first half of my life, and then
know.
changed.
I know. Well, let's just do it right now, Erica. It's time for the time machine. Not the wind machine, Erica. Tempest, she can't use the computer, so we just told her to make the sound effects with her mouth.
But she looked good.
But she
That's what
looked
matters. You look good, sweetie.
So now you didn't grow up in Utah.
I did
but
not.
Your family was Mormon. You was in what, Virginia and
I was born in North Carolina.
North Carolina.
And my family actually converted to the Mormon religion from Southern Baptist.
Oh.
So it's like going from like here to here, you know?
wow.
So
it's going from like kind of crazy to like yeah, real crazy.
right? Yeah, it was cuckoo to cuckoo, sort of a parallel shift. But yeah, North Carolina, born and raised. We lived overseas a little bit in the Middle
really?
East.
Where was that?
In Saudi Arabia when I was a young lass.
Yeah.
And then sort of kind of all over. My family moved a lot. My father's job sort of had us moving around. So,
So
good.
so it was a very religious Mormon environment.
Very conservative, very like sort of culturally exclusive to Mormons. All my friends were Mormon, all that, you know. My
were
world was Mormon.
In that Mormon life.
I was in deep, over my head.
And so you were spending a lot of time repressing homosexual feelings?
Let me tell you. Right? Well, you know, they have an interesting stand on homosexuality, as it were. That they
yes.
sort of feel like you can pray it away. And there's this whole theory that, like, in the Mormon church that, you know, before you come to this earth, you decide certain challenges you'll have to overcome to make you a better person. And evidently
Right.
mine was, you know, dick. So
That's a challenge
just
I
such
like
a challenge.
to take on.
So I guess I misinterpreted it as try as much dick
Right.
as you can. But no, I did the whole reparative therapy thing.
Yeah,
and
let's. I mean, like normally we would
horrible.
just dive right in, but let's get into it.
let's
So
do it.
You're like, when did you come out to yourself? When did you then communicate? I'm having these feelings to the people around you.
Probably early. Well, I knew that I liked boys from forever. as
From
long
when
as
you were
remember.
dressing up in dresses
of
and
course,
using
darling.
mommy's makeup.
And I used to go to, my grandmother used to get the National Enquirer in the mail, like the old school National
yeah.
Enquirer. And I would take it when we visited her, and would cut the pictures out because I'd always have like a shirtless somebody.
Of course,
there.
Tom Selleck or
Yes,
any of them all.
John Eric Hexum.
Oh,
you remember him?
I do not.
Do you remember it? Look him up.
Okay,
He was
Google it.
He was like, this is the old school, like late 70s, early 80s. It wasn't until I went to college in my early 20s, well, late teens, early 20s, that I figured I was such a miserable kid, as many oppressed kids are.
Yeah.
I thought I've got to do something, and so the solution given to me by my religion and culture was, you fix it, you pray it
Right.
away, you fast it away, you go to counselors, and they treated it as a compulsive disorder. They literally gave me books about this is your compulsive disorder, like stealing or drinking too much, right? And so probably in and out of therapy 5 or 6 years, reparative therapy, and
Was that the kind of stuff where they show you gay porn and then
no, but they were doing that at Brigham Young University.
Wow.
Shortly before I got there, actually, they were still doing that. And I got there in the mid '80s.
Wow.
They were taking kids who professed to being gay to a cellar on campus, literally showing them gay porn, hooking electrodes to their genitals, and they would shock them when they got aroused.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
some fucked up shit,
That's some-
Eric.
that's
I'm
some-
sorry that happened to you.
It's like Nazi shit. It's like cruel, terrible, awful shit. And before that, they were doing lobotomies, like in the 50s and 60s.
Lobotomies?
To gay people in Utah, yeah. So I will call them out on it if nobody else will.
Yeah, tell them.
So it's a history that we have to sort of own and acknowledge,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned. But I struggle with all that, and it wasn't until I was in my late 20s that I thought, I'm going to die if I
Right.
don't do something. So, and at that point, I was working sort of professionally in the theater business, and everyone came into and ran into, I just assumed I was gay.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, okay, I might as well just be gay.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember the moment driving in my car, the first time I ever said it out loud to myself. And it was such like a beautiful cathartic moment for me saying, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay. It's okay.
Right.
And, you know, and that was the last time I ever went to church. So.
Wow. And what was the reaction from your family? I know you have brothers and sisters who had already left the church.
Yeah.
So that helped, right?
Yeah. They were way ahead of me, ahead of the curve. I had 2 brothers and a sister.
You're like, I'm going to stay. I'm loving this. They're showing me a lot of gay porn in the basement. It's pretty cool. I don't have to go to Blockbuster.
It vibrates. No, I remember I was so excited to come out to my parents, who were still very devout Mormons.
Right.
My father was a bishop in the Mormon church.
Wow.
And so I drove home from grad school one weekend and like literally ran in the house and said, Mom, sit down, I'm gay. And she's like, okay. And then like literally like, okay, dead silence, walked upstairs and I could hear, you know?
Wow.
But she knew it was coming. She
Yeah.
raised a theater kid, right?
I mean, and you were working the theater, and designing costumes,
Heavy and hard,
doing
yes.
homosexual rehabilitation.
Look, I was in drag shows since like elementary school in the basement. So
Right.
right. So then my dad came home and basically he's like, well, you know, I've dealt with this as a bishop and, you know, don't feel like you can't change because we can make this work for you. No.
You're like,
No,
I don't
done.
think so,
Done.
Dad.
But they, you know, my father's passed away now, but before he passed away, we had a great reconciliation and
Wow.
it's very supportive and
That's a
beautiful.
lot. I
And my
mean,
mother
for
too.
all the drama that you had to go through, at least they didn't ice you out after that happened.
No, and it happens so much. Not just to Mormon kids, but you know,
Yeah,
kids all over
but
the place.
especially Mormon kids.
Especially Mormon kids. And you know, statistics show that the suicide rate in Mormon kids, gay Mormon kids, is even higher than the national average, which is, you know, much higher than regular hetero kids. So
Right.
it's a real issue and a cause for me I'm passionate about. You know.
What was Tempest DuJour's big mission like?
Oh my God.
What was that experience of going on a Mormon mission like?
You know, your whole life, they hype you up saying, this is
Yeah.
going to be the best 2 years of your life, the best 2 years of your life, the best 2 years of your life.
Right.
The best part of it is that, you know, you're living with all these other 19-year-old boys the whole time.
Right.
That you're assigned to live with.
Yeah.
And seeing them walking around naked all the time was probably the best part of the 2
Right.
years. But it absolutely was the most horrible 2 years of my life. I mean, just knowing that, like,
A lot of
you know,
secret
having
masturbating.
doors slammed in your face every day and bottles thrown at you on the street,
God,
and
right.
and I was sure because I had lived overseas, and at the time I was speaking and writing Arabic. I had studied French in school. I knew some American Sign Language, and I thought they're going to send me the most exotic, like Fiji or something, to like
Yeah.
convert the masses. I go to the high desert of California. Of
Wow.
course. So Palmdale. So you know that was my big mission. No offense to Palmdale, but
I can lead us through Palmdale.
behold the
Ya
Joshua
Habibi.
tree. Here's the Book of Mormon.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was. It's like a blur now, honestly. It's like I think I've sort of mentally blocked most of it out.
I bet, except for maybe the dick shows. Where you're
Except
like,
for, like- except for some of those
"Keep
Utah boys."
looking, those Utah,
Yeah,
thick Mormon beer can.
love
cock.
it. I do love a Mormon boy.
Do you?
Sorry, Lady Red. Lady Red loves a Mormon boy too, doesn't she? I bet she was fucking a lot of them back in the day in Utah.
Well, they approve of anal, so yes.
Is that the case, Lady Red?
They do. They do. A lot of
They do.
kids, like at the Brigham Young University where I went, thought, well, the straight kids thought, well, I can fuck a girl in the ass because that's not intercourse.
Wow.
So they would justify it like that.
Or get fucked in the ass.
Or get fucked in the ass.
Not intercourse.
If you didn't get caught by the secret Brigham Young University gay cops.
Right, because
that
they would
stalk
meet you at the
bathroom.
motherfucking.
That's a real thing?
That's a real
baby.
thing.
It is
The
a
gay
real
cops
thing.
at Brigham Young, huh?
Oh yes, honey.
Ha!
And they would go into all the stalls and the bathrooms on campus and tap, tap, tap to bust you. And they had a special unit that would go up. There was one gay bar in Salt Lake City called The Sun at the time. And they would send people up to The Sun on the weekends to catch BYU students.
What?
And bust them so they could expel them, yeah.
This is some fucked up
It's
shit.
some Nazi ass shit. It's
Wow.
crazy. It's so dumb. It's
And you
so
never
dumb.
got caught?
No.
Were you sexually active when you were still in the closet? You were, yeah.
There was. Listen, children, you'll appreciate this
Yes, I will.
because this is our generation. I mean, I'm sure I'm older than you.
That's our generation.
But there was only one place you could kind of get away with hooking up and meeting guys at the time, and that was this rest stop between Provo and Salt Lake City.
Wow.
Yeah, this is old school.
That's
This is how we did it in the day.
old-fashioned type of shit.
Back in the day, this is how we did it, people. And you'd go and there'd be like every night there's like 40 cars, and it's all these like a mix of like BYU students and like local farm boys and married men, and it was joyous.
Hold on a second. I need to make a reservation to go.
It was hopping too, let me tell you. It was always busy.
Really?
And there was like a cornfield behind it, so you could go out in the cornfield if you were into that shit. You know, like
If you were into getting fucked with corn.
If you need the corn.
My goodness.
Yeah, it was the the good old days in many ways, but not in that it was dangerous. But,
right, not that it was dangerous and that the gay police were out to get you and excommunicate you.
There was all
and
that.
expel you.
There was all that.
But I guess the sense of danger was a little titillating.
I get when you're like 20.
Yes, but when you're 20 and when everything is so nice.
You're 20 and you still get those like math class erections that like, randomly and
Right.
that last for an hour.
The number is 1. So finally you come out and you're just starting to teach at this time? Because it's like you're like, what, 29 or 30 when you really come out?
No, I was sort of, in college still. And
so I was in college when you finally
that was all
out.
college. And then I went to grad school, and right after grad school moved right to New York City and lived in Manhattan and did my sort of freelance sort of theater thing there.
Oh, and what was that?
And that
what year in New York was that?
I moved there in 97.
Okay.
So it was good because I got to experience all of New York before, it was still gross and seedy and Times Square.
Yeah, that was right when I moved there, and Erica too.
Really? All right.
Right at the end.
Yeah, it was like we got a little touch of it.
A little bit, enough of it. Like
Enough
when all
of it,
the great creepy porn places were still there,
Yes,
right? Where people hooked up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was good. And then I wasn't there very long before I got offered this academic position at the University of North Carolina, and so I took that. And
when were you in New York, were you like, the only way I know to have sex with men is to go to seedy places and blow them through a hole in the wall?
Because I was still
Right.
kind of in denial. It was still like secretive to me. I was kind of out to myself, but I was still scared to be like out to the world. And I think it's funny, there's so many, practically all my friends from the old Utah days are gay and out now, even the ones that got married and had kids, right? So many of us. We have websites now where we talk and chat and Facebook pages. But we all talk about, God, if there had been one person who said, let's talk about this, you're safe with me, or it's okay to be gay, or just someone who would listen, it would have changed everything for all of us. But there, at the time there was just nobody, and people didn't survive it. Unfortunately, it was sad.
That's some intense shit to go through.
Yeah, very, very.
So you finally you go to New York, you have a little adventure there. You go back, a lot of
Too much.
adventure. Too much in what way?
Well, I thought, at a certain point, I had sort of come out, but I was still like, do I want to be gay? Do I don't want to be gay? Occasionally, every now and then, I would go to church just to make sure.
Oh, wow.
It was that kind of period. And I finally, it got so dark at one point that I was like, this is such fucked up logic. But I was like, I'm just going to fuck whatever I can find. And hopefully, I'll get sick and die this horrible disease. And I'll be the martyr, the Mormon martyr boy, because
that is fucking dark.
It's terrible. Yeah, like total strangers, just like, come on. I'll show that Mormon church. Give it to me.
Wow.
And by miracle, survived that. But
Hallelujah.
Shouldn't have, but did.
Right.
And it's just an ugly, horrible place. Thank God the world is so different now.
Yeah.
I talk to my students now, and they've never been in a world where there wasn't like gay on TV and it's okay and fun and for us it was like
it's very different.
It was amazing to see anyone in the media who was gay.
Yeah.
So
you go up and you get to North Carolina. That's where you're going to.
I went to go
grad
teach.
school. And then did things start to like smooth out for you?
For sure. Then I sort of found a gay community for the first time that I felt like I can sort of go into, and did the whole like 90s sort of dance party thing every night, and even in North Carolina, and found my friends and my group, and became like, like when everybody comes out first, they're like the super vigilant gay.
Of
they're
course.
like all the stickers on the car and everything, and I was that guy for a
you.
while, so like political man. And
Amazing.
so I went through all that. I'm glad I went through all that.
Yeah,
So
it's very important to have that period.
my journey and part of a rite of passage, I think, for gay folks coming out, especially later in life.
And when did drag start to begin, other than when you were a child, dressing up as in your mommy's outfits and things?
In mommy's closet?
Yeah, but when did you discover that you might really want to perform in drag?
Well, it wasn't until I moved to North Carolina and took that job that I started going to drag shows like regularly. And I was obsessed, I just God, I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. And Carolina's got some good drag, like those Southern girls, like take it seriously, like pageant girls, and it was just so amazing to me. To me, it was like everything that I loved, like hyper theatricality and being out and proud and gay.
Sparkles.
It was everything to me.
Numbers
And shiny, sparkly things and big hair and lots of makeup. And I, for years I stood in the back of the room and was like, God, I could do that.
Yeah.
How many people say that, right?
A lot.
Yeah, right? And finally grew some balls and did it. So
now, when did the big moment of the car accident leading to the weight loss? I mean, that's like a huge dramatic moment you talked about on the show, but take me back there a little bit.
Yeah, that was the life-changing moment. That changed everything for me. And it was just three years ago, and we were.
It was just 3 years ago?
3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. We were going up to Phoenix one day to shop and stuff. We'd gone to IKEA, I remember.
Right.
And at the time we had, my daughter was, I think she was just, she was like 4 at the time. And so I guess it was maybe 4 years ago. And then my son was just a foster kid at the time with us. He was like 10 months old.
Wow.
Baby in the back, and my husband and I. And all I remember is that we were shopping at IKEA, and then I woke up 2 days later in the hospital. I don't remember like they had to explain everything to happen to me, but evidently we were going down the freeway about 80 miles an hour, and we slowed because there was an accident ahead. And some kid behind us who said he was texting, and then he said he was falling asleep, and then he said something else, whatever, didn't slow down. So he hit us and catapulted us under a semi.
Whoa.
And it was pretty bad. I mean, it ripped my leg off at the knee. It, like my femur shot out of my knee.
I'm looking for your bone sticking out.
There's a lot of metal in there.
There's a lot of metal up in there.
Convincing scar. I usually tell people it's a shark bite because it's like a big, like curvy scar on my leg.
Wow.
But broke lots of things. My collarbone, my hand in 5 places, and I mean it was pretty devastating. And nearly bled out. Actually, kind of died a little bit on the freeway. Not to be over dramatic.
But I mean, it was very dramatic.
I mean,
you can't be over dramatic.
They shut
about
down.
bleeding out, Tempest.
They shut down I-10 and brought helicopters in to fly me out. That's how bad it was.
Boo.
So it was bad.
That's what happens when Lady Red goes to Wendy's.
Fill up the Frosty machine, Stat.
Coming.
Get some extra oil in that fryer.
Oil ready.
Now. It was bad, and I remember the doctor telling me, he's like, it's a good thing you were such a big boy, because I was nearly 400 pounds at the time.
Wow.
It's a good thing you were such a big boy, because you would not have survived that impact had you been a small person.
Thank God for the fat.
Right? So there's benefit.
The one time you were like, thank goodness for the fat.
Seriously. And so then the first thing I do after the accident is lose weight, which it seems illogical, but I didn't feel good about myself, and mostly I thought, when you survive like a near-death experience, something really great happens, and one is that most people I've talked to, you lose your fear of death, which is kind of cool.
Oh, wow.
And so I don't fear death anymore because I've sort of been there. And the other thing is like, I have these children that need me, and they're gonna need me like for many years.
Yeah, for a long time.
So for a while.
You're not even halfway done.
Those little moochers. I mean, Jesus, It's like another fucking Happy Meal, really? Yeah, so Daddy's got to work. So, the next Star Wars toy, okay. So, Mama will work for you. So I had to get myself healthy, and that was the catalyst for all that.
Amazing. Yeah. So then you lost the weight. You have a great life. Your husband, kids, and then where does Drag Race fit in?
I started auditioning like the second season. So I auditioned 4 times before I made it on.
Wow.
But it was 3 times as a big girl, and then one time as a not so big girl. And they, you know, they remember you. I always tell girls, keep sending in the tapes because they remember you year to year.
Right.
And it's not about who's the most talented. It's about who fits into that cast.
Right.
So as you know.
Yeah.
So luckily I fit into the cast, and I was like, thank you, Jesus, if there is a Jesus, you know.
And so you get there, you're sequestered.
Oh my God, yeah. After like 3 months of like interviews and all that stuff, you get there and it's such a build-up. It's like, you know, Ru tells you the first day, like it's the Olympics of drag, right? And I'm like, holy shit.
It is.
It was like everything to me and everything, and that's why I think it was so devastating to go first.
I mean, gosh, and I know that was
so
the one
devastating
thing you were fearing.
Well, nobody wants to go first.
Right.
And that's the only, and literally I remember going, dear God, please, anything but the first. And everybody says that.
Yes,
right?
they do.
But, you know, that was the card I was dealt, and it's called RuPaul's Drag Race. It's not called, you know, the most interesting Queen race.
Yes, it is.
Or I would have won. But, you know, she gets to make the decisions, and I completely respect that. Do I agree with it? No. But I respect it.
Sure.
You know? It is what it is.
And for whatever short period of time you were on, you did make an impression. You managed to throw in lots of good things for people to hold on to about you never being too old to dream, having, you know, the looks that you did serve. And so then you managed to like get out of it and still actually get a lot of love from the audience.
I feel really lucky because some of the girls in my season got it bad. I mean, there was some horrible hate messages going on online.
Yeah, these motherfuckers that watch the show y'all lost y'all's minds.
And it's so easy when you're like, you know, a toothless 13-year-old in Georgia sitting behind your camera, you know, your thing, and typing shit about people. But you know, it's easy to do that, and you know it's gonna come. It's just part of the deal.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, for me, it was the only regret. People ask me if I have regrets, and it's just that I feel like I didn't get to show why I was cast.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like a comedy acting queen, and like the next fucking 3 challenges were like acting.
I know.
It was a Shakespeare challenge. I mean, the Tempest comes from the Tempest.
Exactly.
Those bitches can't spell Shakespeare. So that was hugely disappointing that I didn't get to go. But if I can toot my own horn for a minute, there was sort of like this recent online poll of like your favorite first to go of all seasons, which I won with like 65% of the vote.
Yeah. Well, I love you, Tempest DuJour. I think you're so great. I'm so glad we got to get you on the show,
thank
honey.
you so much.
And you've turned it so fiercely. You snatched the trophy, honey. Yes. There she is. So happy. Wow. And you've also feed it good.
Mama will feed it.
And while you're feeding, you've also won yourself a lap dance. Yay! I want you to just feel his ass. It's the most, it's like marble. It's like glorious. It's like factory, darling. And look, you just grew that chest hair. It looks so sexy.
So good.
Oh my God, Lady Red, while this happens, give me some Black Ladies cream.
Okay. Hey, Queen.
Keep going.
What? Don't stop. Don't stop.
Hey, Queen. Tempest DuJour. Oh, hey, Queen.
Yes. Oh, now give her a lap dance from the front so the audience can just get in here. Look at Austin's new chest hair. Oh my goodness. Look at it. Oh yes. Well, Tempest, continue to enjoy that. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Johnny.
Don't forget, you don't want to go anywhere. Just click on through because Tempest will be staying and playing Look at Her in the after show. We'll see